What's going on, guys? I am Johnny Wolf, and this is Nerdy Urges. With me today is SpanishJ. How you doing?
Hola. I'm doing well. Yourself?
I am doing great. I'm glad I remembered to record your audio this time.
Yes. That way we can have the whole conversation and not, like have to redo it all over
Yeah,
again.
yeah, inside jokes. But before we begin, I'd like to say this episode is sponsored by epicallyshop.com, one of the greatest anime merch sites to ever exist. They have all kinds of merch from all your favorite animes, including all the big three: Naruto, Black Clover. Wait, Black Clover. Sorry, forget I
Black
said that.
Clover.
Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. It was the BL, okay? I'm sorry. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. I'm young, but I'm not stupid. But yeah, definitely check them out. You can click the link in the description if you're watching the YouTube video, and feel free to use my discount code JWolf for an additional 5% off. All right. That said, on with the episode. Today we are discussing My Hero Academia as a series, the anime, the manga, how well the anime adapted the manga, what we expect to see next in the anime, as well as the manga. Just, the whole shebang, or
The whole kit
smash.
and
The
caboodle.
whole smash.
The whole smash.
Yeah,
I like that segue.
that
That was good.
was good. All right. But, and this is, and spoiler warning, by the way, if you're not fully caught up, both of us are fully caught up with the manga, and holy shit is our anticipation meter all the way up. Like,
It's insane. It's insane.
it
Like
is insane.
the so for like all sakes and purposes, when season what season? When season
Wait, what character? What were some key characters?
4. Oh, no, hold on. When season 4, right, we're in season 5. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. When season 3 ended, I
Okay.
was like, "Oh, okay, it's over. Let me read the manga." And I picked that thing up and I did not put it down. I
Neither
literally
did
just
I.
read and read and read. So like I've known for months obviously what's going to happen, and I think they do a really really good job of visually showing me what it is that I like see in the still frames. I think they do an absolutely fantastic job. But let's start off with whatever it is that we're going to start with going into this thing. Series and manga, right?
Yeah, like the
Okay.
anime, like what? Because like I didn't read the anime from read the anime. I didn't read the manga from the very beginning because I discovered the anime first before the manga. So, but like the first season, like immediately had me hooked from like the first three episodes because we have it's like a classic tale of like a guy who starts out powerless, gains a power, and spends his entire existence mastering that power.
Mhm.
And as cliche as that is, they actually conveyed it in a unique fashion. Cause and not only that, because it wasn't completely centered around Deku. Like when you have such a large cast, and you don't want anybody to be asking what about these guys, and that's where Horikoshi's storytelling really excelled, in my
I
opinion.
agree. I felt like, and I rewatched it again with my kids because I had watched it all, and then one day they saw that I was watching it, and they were like, "What are you watching?" And I said, "Oh, I'm watching My Hero Academia."
You're a
And
good dad.
thanks. And they said, "Oh, what's it about?" And I said, "You know what? Why don't we just Why don't I just start from the beginning?" So I watch it on Saturdays, and like I watch it first, and then like I'll end up watching it with them. And my oldest son is reading the manga, so he's already like past where they are in the series. But it's nice to like it was nice to re-see the whole thing. That being said, the first season, to be honest, I didn't get hooked until they had their first test and Deku went to go save uh
Uraraka.
yes, Uraraka.
Oh yeah, the
And
entrance exam. Yeah.
yes, and that's what hooked me because I was like, oh snap, like this is the thing,
Yeah,
you know.
that was like one of the first roller coaster moments. Like, holy shit, what the hell is happening? What the hell is happening? What the hell is happening? And then just,
Yeah,
the smash, and then I'm like, this dude's arm turned into spaghetti, but holy shit, was that epic.
yeah, because and like that kind of solidified the fact that, it's not just a story about him, even though in the beginning he said this is the story of how I became the world's greatest superhero.
Yeah.
As soon as Uraraka slapped him, like to stop him from hurting himself and falling, you knew that it was going to be like, okay, this is going to be not just about him, it's going to be about other characters. And throughout the series, you actually grow to like the characters. Like, you may not know every single one of them by their first and last name, but you do know who they are, what their powers are, like how they help their team, like what their special ability within a group is. And I think it was really, really well done. The first couple episodes just didn't hook me. Like, yes, Deku's weakness is that he doesn't have a quirk, and you're supposed to identify with him
Yeah.
because as somebody who, like, lives in a normal, ordinary world, that's who you identify and that's who you should gravitate to.
Yeah, and
But
that was like a brilliant way to ground Deku to the audience. Like,
yes.
and like, you make the main character as relatable as possible at first,
Hmm.
but if it stays that way, it just becomes static.
Exactly. And they did a good job with like All Might and explaining like how he has this weakness as well, even though he's not supposed to. Um, I think that's what gripped me when he didn't even have to hit that robot. It was 0 points, you know, but he did it for the same reason he went in and saved Bakugo.
Yeah,
Like, he
because
just
like,
instinctively wants to do that.
yeah, and that's what gave Deku, well, not what gave Deku. That's what gave me like the biggest clue that Deku was so in tune with a hero mindset, he because at first he was just gonna run away from the robot, but then he sees Uraraka stuck under a bunch of rubble, and he's like, "Screw it! This isn't about points anymore. This is no longer a game. I gotta save this girl's life." And that's the way it is for heroes, and not just in the My Hero universe, but pretty much any like
Yeah,
comic
every
book,
single one.
any hero anime. That's how it is. It's not a
Yeah.
game. This is literally a life or death situation, and that was
Yeah,
his
I mean,
mindset.
it's like that in every anime if you think about it. Like,
Yeah.
Ichigo goes, like, he will fight to the death for his friends. He doesn't care. Like, he's just like, listen, you hurt my friend, I'm going to destroy you
That
because that's what I do. I say that because I'm rereading the manga because
yeah.
I'm like, oh, the series is coming out again. Let me catch up on what I've missed.
Yeah, I did that.
Um,
I reread the Bleach manga last year, and it was just as amazing as I remember. But that's beside the point. Back to My Hero.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I think they did the series has done a very good job of like, um, just gripping people and just making them come back every Sunday or Saturday now,
Yeah.
and just like, first thing in the morning, that's usually what you do, and it's nice because it kind of gives you that nostalgic feeling of like waking up and watching cartoons, even though it's not a cartoon. Don't get me started on that argument.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
That's like our inner 8-year-old that got up every Saturday morning to watch Dragon Ball Z. Like, we would get up every Saturday morning to hear like that theme song for Dragon Ball Z Kai, and that was just literally one of the most banger anime opening title sequences in memory. And here comes My Hero Academia with all of these banger openings, especially the ones by Kanabun.
I mean, every opening, although I will say, and I might get some hate for this, I did not like the very first season's opening.
I'm trying to remember which one that
It's
was.
like da 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 da
Oh,
da da
I remember that.
da 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 da. Like, I don't know, that one just didn't like do it for me. But every other one after that, I
Yeah.
was like, hell yeah! Like,
My favorite was a Star Maker by Kanabun from season 4.
da 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 da
I
da.
still listen to that on the way home from work
I
every
listen to
now and
all of
again.
them. I listen to all of them. My favorite one is it's the one right before Kanabooms.
Uh
Um da, 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 da,
oh,
da,
I know what you're talking
da.
about. The one by
That's the best.
Blue Pegasus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that one and the one the one right before their uh provisionary license exam where it's like I keep my ideals with me. Oh,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
oh, oh.
by Uberworld,
I
yeah.
just think, oh, Uberworld is amazing. Like
Ooh,
again, Bleach, Uberworld. Anyway,
yeah.
um,
They also did
uh,
Seven Deadly Sins. That was a banger.
Seven Deadly Sins. I'll get hate for that, but whatever. Um,
Opinion, it's fine.
I yeah, no, no. I mean, but like I think they just do a really good job of animating to the song.
They
And I know
really
that
do.
most animes do that, but there's just something about My Hero that like every single like beat is hit with like a perfect animation and just like a movement or like a quirk or something.
It
And
really is. They really incorporate the movement of the characters into the song, and I really like how in the newest opening, number one, how they incorporate like you've seen it, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like how they incorporated all their abilities into the main chorus of the song, and they had like all the shockwave moves incorporated with like the shockwave sounds of the song,
Mm-mm.
and like all the fierce movements with the ferocity of the lyrics, and I'm like, oh my god, this just goes so well. But somebody's gonna put Dear Maria into this, and I'm gonna want to choke somebody. Like,
I'm pretty sure people already did,
I'm
and that's
like,
fine. And it's fine. It's fine that they have. Um, I that whole TikTok thing like took
yeah.
off.
I mean, I
Um,
even did it to Death Note on a dare, and I hate myself.
I did it to 3 different animes at the same time.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, like aside from the anime openings and but the character, like you said earlier, with the characters, the way how they incorporate the characters is just so moving, and you feel so heavily invested with like their situations and their growth, especially Bakugo and Shoto, because those guys are like very grim. Well, actually, I take that back. Shoto's the more grim one. Bakugo's
mhm.
just like aggressive and unstable, but that's fitting given that he's a walking, talking bomb.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that I got into this conversation with a student of mine actually,
Uh,
who said he doesn't like My Hero because the main character is a crybaby, which a lot of people have, stated, and they
yeah,
also don't like the fact that Bakugo, who is supposed to be this like badass, ends up crying because he feels some type of way that All Might lost his ability, and he feels, you know, somewhat responsible for that.
yeah, like
What I had to tell him, because this child is a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, I go, but isn't that the same thing as like Deku being the underdog and Goku being the underdog and Vegeta starting off as like this antagonistic asshole where Bakugo is literally an I mean, don't you remember their very first training where they had to fight one another and Bakugo was really trying to like hurt him while Deku was just trying to win. And like he like burned him, and through the series and more so through the manga because you see the conversations that he has with All Might and you see how like his character progresses. It literally is almost a very big resemblance to Vegeta.
it really
Vegeta
is.
starts off as this, I'm gonna kill you, and then he has a reason to live and he has a reason to like become a good person. And Bakugo in the manga, and I can't wait for them to show that. Like I can't wait for them to like plug those things in. He really does maybe not come, a whole 180, but he's like at like 150
Like
maybe.
he's just leaning over, just
Yeah, he's
like
just
like Happy
kind of there.
Gilmore, just tap 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 tap
Yeah.
tap. Like that's actually a
um
really good analogy for it though, because he's like not quite there, but he's getting there at a great
yeah.
pace. At a
And I think go ahead. You
but yeah, at a great pace. Like especially when like that's like the what was it called, the work study arc, when everybody was at the work study and he was with Best Jeanist, and
Yep.
they were like talking about his hero name, and then that came back later during the war arc.
Uh,
like
first of all, the fact that he gave himself such a long name was hilarious.
I'm
But
definitely gonna, like, spoilers, but I'm definitely gonna call him Dynamite for short.
yeah, no question.
No
And,
question.
and I think, and that's fitting. That's completely fitting.
It really is,
You know?
especially the might part. Like, cause you definitely have to read it to get the significance of the might part.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely a love letter to All Might. Like,
And I think that was perfect for him. You
it
know,
really was.
like he obviously his quirk, and also the fact that he, just like Deku, like adored All Might. He
Yeah.
idolized him.
And in a way, that was like his way of getting closure for what he felt he did to All Might when he,
Hmm.
like, he fully overcame that, tragedy, the what's guilt, the transgression, everything. Like, obviously not all at the same time, because you don't just overcome stuff like that in one sitting. It took time and understanding, and the understanding was really rough on his part, because he's a stubborn motherfucker. But
Hmm. And he said it perfectly. And he was like, how can the person that I like, the clip notes is like, how can the person that I idolize more than anything give their quirk to someone so like, and I think as a viewer, as a reader, as a person, you can, take your own life experiences and be like, how can someone like you get something that, like, I felt the right to deserve? Be it a job promotion, be it like, a job in general, or like a relationship, a car, whatever. You know, it that actually really hurt to see such a stubborn person, just kind of face defeat and be like, fuck,
yeah,
it sucks.
like, especially, like, what really got me to believe that there was, like, this flip side. Well, I mean, I always knew there was, like, a flip side to Bakugo, given, like, his past friendship with Deku. But like I said, I always knew there was, like, a flip side to Bakugo. Like, he's not always going to, I knew for a fact he wasn't always going to be just this stoic, aggressive asshole, given his past friendship with Deku. And because I knew he at least had a subconscious amount of attachment towards Deku.
Well, to go ahead with your point, it's funny that you say that, because I actually thought that he was going to be a villain.
Yeah,
I was under the impression, and I that's, for me, that kind of sucked, because I was like, oh, this is another predictable shonen anime where the best friend doesn't get what he wants, and he feels some type of way, and now he's gonna go do something stupid as hell, because that's what you do, and then he's gonna be a villain. Like, that's really what I thought was gonna happen. And especially when the League of Villains captured him, I was like, he's gonna be a villain. This is exactly what is gonna happen. And he just totally said, nah, man, F that.
but yeah,
I am a hero.
that's what I was saying. Like right as the League of Villains captured, and he was being sucked into Kurogiri's wormhole quirk, and he and you saw Deku, like, reaching out for him, and just the corner of Bakugo's eye sticking out, and you hear him whisper in, like, the most frightened tone, full of terror, and he's just like, "Stay back, Deku."
Yeah. Don't come for me.
He's like, his first thought was, "I don't want him to get hurt," and I'm like, he does care, like,
Somewhere in that cold heart of his, he does care.
like, for real. And like you said, like, he was probably gonna get captured by the villains, get convinced to join them. That was one of my biggest fears for that part of the series.
I mean, he totally would have fit the bill.
Yeah, I mean, but at this point, like, when you first get introduced to Bakugo, it was basically a coin toss. Either he was just gonna be like an asshole good guy, or he was gonna be that asshole who turns into a bad guy.
Hmm.
Or you could argue for the third option, where he's starts as an asshole good guy, then turns into asshole bad guy, feels guilty, comes back as good guy. But
Yeah, and it gets shonen animes are guilty of doing that. So
they really are. But here's what actually ended up happening. The show, like, pretty much showed us why he is the way he is, and not only because of his his mother, but like Mrs. Bakugo is crazy. Just and it makes sense why he's so aggressive because that's the environment he grew up around. But at the same time,
Hmm.
it helps in him being a hero because he's the classic fight evil with evil type deal.
Yeah.
And
Um,
and not a lot of people grasp that concept when looking at Bakugo. They just see an asshole who's just being mad for the sake of being mad. Like,
mm. I think the to piggyback off what you just said, I think it also came with the fact that like they kept praising him for having a great quirk. Oh my god, your quirk is so his friends did that, his parents did that, his teachers did that. And that instills some sense of confidence, that you're like, I'm the shit. Like no one is better than me and I can rival All Might. And then when this quirkless person gets something, you're just like, how?
yep,
Like what is happening right? I'm supposed to be, the best one.
like you stole
And
the spotlight from him, and now he's pissed off.
yeah. Yeah. I think the storytelling in that alone, just that is enough to give the show a chance, give the manga a chance. Like the development of all of the characters in general. Obviously they're not going to spend a ton of time on like, I mean, even they did something with Sue, and Sue was great, you know?
Yeah,
Like
when Sue like that hospital scene when she was like she said that like they shouldn't go out for the rescue because breaking the rules, and she's like if you break the rules that basically makes you the same as villains. Like that actually got us thinking for a bit, but then
mhm.
we were like we know these guys already, they're just going to go ahead and go for it. But it turned out that she was just saying that in hopes of just keeping them safe. and
Yeah.
and it really warmed my heart to see just little frog baby just open up like that. And when she was in tears, god damn it, did I just want to give her a hug. Like,
And yeah, I mean they do transfer the manga over really well. Like they do a really good job of, you know, portraying what I envision in my head, like come out beautifully. Like when he fought Muscular and that
yes,
whole that whole
yes,
scene was just blew me away because I made sure to go back and read like the like the fights, the important things.
yeah,
And I was like, wow, like they did a really really good job. They've done an exceptional job of um of visually stimulating the reader.
yeah. And like the way they caught up with those movements of like Muscular's muscles like overlapping his actual body. Like I remember because like I first read the manga after the end of season 1, and then
Mm,
I saw that with Muscular on the manga. I'm like, holy shit, how are they gonna animate that? Because in
mhm.
in the manga, all it was just like those those onomatopoeic words, just plep 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 rip 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 rip. And I'm just like, how are they gonna animate this? And I see it animated, I'm like, whoo, because
It, it's crazy.
like people think that you read the manga and then you don't have to watch the anime. Wrong. Well, I mean, wrong, not wrong.
Um, I would agree that it's wrong and not wrong.
Yeah, like because like on one hand you know the story, you already know what's gonna happen, but at the same time it's just so interesting to see what they can do and if and when they can make it better. Because like as you're reading the manga, they have those little details, like I said, those onomatopoeic words, to where you're
Yep.
basically just seeing it happen in your imagination on the paper.
I
And
I agree with you because there's those. This is definitely one of those shows where you should read the manga just for yourself. If you're the type of person like me that doesn't want to wait,
yeah,
or just wait to watch the series. Either one is fine. It's not a Promise of Neverland,
oh yeah,
where the series is incredible, but the show has destroyed it. It's not a like what was the other one that I was going to say?
uh,
There was one other. There's another one that was literally just off the top of my head. I never read Tokyo Ghoul, but I heard Tokyo Ghoul was amazing.
yeah, Tokyo,
The series,
the
not the
series.
show.
Yeah, the series. I've read the manga like I it was another one of those instances like after season 1 read the manga. The manga was amazing, and in my opinion, the series was still good, but the manga definitely so much better.
And that's like, everyone, who's everyone, myself included,
Yeah,
has said Boruto is trash. The manga is not trash.
the manga is not
The
trash.
manga is great. I think the manga has taken what like has happened and blah 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 and everything, and they've adapted it as best as they could. The show is garbage. My Hero is not one of those things.
It is not.
My Hero is literally a show that like you can watch and you're like, "Oh, I remember reading that. Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that one little tiny page. Oh my god, look how they animated this. Like
I
it
know.
works."
And like there's so many moments like in the part in the anime right now that they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad they animated this so well." And it's especially that part where Kurohiro just grabbed Aoi. Wait, what's his name? Aoi. It's not Aoyama, is it? The Can't Stop Twinkling kid? Aoyama.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
yes,
his name's
yes.
Aoyama, where he just grabbed him and he just
And you just
just
that part was amazing.
that was like I had half a mind to just make a TikTok to where like Kurohiro's hand just reached out, grabs him, and then it just stops at him going, ah! It's just
no. I agree with you. Like they just for that alone, like they did an incredible job.
yeah.
Like when Pony
Yeah,
took
Pony.
what's his
Yeah, when
dude. What I can never. Oh, Tentacool.
Oh, Tentacle. Yeah.
When she launched him into the jail,
Like that was brutal.
it was just so well done.
They
It
had
was so well done.
they had no business taking My Little Pony character and turning her into such a powerhouse with nothing but floating horns and telekinesis. Like they had no business like the versatility of these powers are just absolutely insane.
That's the other thing about the show. The show really and I mean the series in general.
Yeah.
It gives you these things that you're just like Coda. Coda's a perfect example. Weakling, but he can talk to animals.
Oh,
He can
okay.
talk to every animal. Yeah, Coda, Koji.
Yeah, I was thinking like for a minute I was thinking Kota, like the little kid when he fought Muscular. Yeah.
Oh no. And then like Sato, Sugar Rush, like
Yeah.
or Sugar Man. Who would have thought he would have been a hero? Like, yeah, that's a great power, but like it help you see how it develops. Like Ashido and Zero, like tape. Really? That's a quirk.
Like he's basically he's Elbow Spider-Man,
You
but
shoot
in the best way.
tape out of your arms. Like who thinks of mushrooms? What was her name? Komori.
Oh yeah. And,
like mushrooms? What?
But
like-
then you think about the number of mushrooms that exist in the world, and like and not just mushrooms, but like fungus in general.
Yeah.
And when she put the fungus inside Tsukiyomi's lungs, just
Yes.
wait, what the fuck is happening? This should not be a thing, but it is.
But then it also gets to the point where like, do you remember where Hawks and Endeavor were walking down the street at like the last couple of episodes for season 4, and that guy was just standing in front of the building that and the quirk said that if he gets embarrassed, he gets stronger. The more and more embarrassed he gets, the stronger and stronger he becomes. And then just Hawks just takes him, right, and like puts him away before whatever. That's neither here nor there. But the thing that the show does and kind of like puts into your brain, and you don't really think about it until my kids said one day, they were like, what do you think what other kind of quirks there are? We were driving home, right? And they were like, what do you think what other kind of quirks there are? And I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, well, I mean, they've got like Deku's got All for One, and Bakugo's got, like he can be a bomb, and like Shiozaki has the vines and everything.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So I was like, yeah. And then they were like, what about everybody else in the world? Like, how come not everyone is a hero? And if you think about it, the whole world has a quirk, but like maybe it's not a hero one.
Yeah.
Like oh, I can what's your superpower? I can make Skittles come out of my hands. That's my quirk.
Like a prime example is Katsune, the support girl with her babies. Yeah, because like her quirk is called zoom. She can zoom her vision up to like up to like 50 kilometers, and that's great for like recon, but as far as the hero world goes, like you can only do so much with that. But
Yeah.
which is why she devoted herself to being a support hero, because she's really good with tech and building stuff. And even then, that's like a prime example of like you can be born with a superpower, but the superpower is not good enough to go into being a hero.
And I don't think any series, show, anything like even has tackled something like that, where
I
it's like
know.
the main focus of the show is obviously Class A, yeah, Class 1A, or even now Class 1B.
Yeah, actually a bit of both right now, because right now they're just the purpose of this current arc, the Class 1B training match arc, like that is basically to introduce everyone's powers or reintroduce everyone's powers and
Hmm.
see how it compares in a fight against our favorite people.
Yep.
And and our number one question after that is what happens when they go out into the field, which is shortly answered in the war arc.
It is answered tenfold.
Like,
Like it is, and we'll get to that. But like it's just so interesting that the series is just like, listen, we're gonna make this whole world about people who have quirks, right? And we're gonna focus on these ones that want to be heroes. And we're just gonna let the reader realize, like slowly realize that the whole world has quirks, but maybe someone's an accountant, maybe someone is like a garbage or janitorial services,
yeah,
you
not
know,
everybody wants to be put inside of a life or death situation on a daily basis.
which
And
also shows at the end of the war arc.
exactly. That's what I love about the series is how much they tackle like the realism of superpower worlds.
Hmm.
Like there's the good, there's the bad, and there's the people that just want to, like Muscular, perfect example. He's like, I don't care what I have to do as long as I get to use my quirk as much as I want. There's
Hmm.
going to be people like that. And in a superpower world, you think bullying is bad now? Imagine that in a world with everybody having superpowers.
I remember having this conversation as a kid when like X-Men was like a big thing, and like X-Men is very, very heavily driven on discrimination and like
Yeah.
being racist towards like the metahumans and things like that. And I remember saying, I think I might have been like 13, and I was like, this could never happen in real life. Like
It
because
never
if
could.
if if for some reason we had an X gene, or in this case a quirk, that person, that group of people would be wiped out so quickly because you wouldn't want to feel inferior.
Yeah, people
And
people are afraid to feel weak and to feel inferior, and most of all, as humans, we instinctively fear what we do not understand.
and I think the series did a great job of just being like, nah, screw that. We're not even going to tackle that. What we're going to do is everyone already has superpowers.
Yeah.
Like everyone is just born with a quirk, and we're going to focus on this one guy that everybody can relate to who does not have a quirk.
See, because here's the thing, one, and that was actually a thing. Because I remember reading an interview article about Horikoshi and somebody else, and like he said that a lot of this takes inspiration from, well, obviously a bunch of other animes, but as well as comic books, and especially X-Men, because
Yeah.
because Horikoshi was a huge comic book nerd in his youth, and he one of the things, and like a lot of people, he got really attached to X-Men because of all the feels that are conveyed in that series, especially the
Hmm.
ones that are pretty much mirrors to what's going on in our society. And
Very much so.
he was really good with conveying stuff like that in My Hero Academia, like especially with the weak survive by trampling on the weaker, and living is only meant for the strong, like those ideals which are commonly expressed by villains. And then there's the righteous heroes that say everybody has the right to life, everybody has the right to choose where they want to be in life. Those basic ideals
Hmm.
that we get from heroes in comic books, and now My Hero Academia.
I think they've done an amazing job of like transferring that over from like, obviously, as you said, X-Men being one of the driving forces of this, but also like kind of taking it in a different direction where it's like, this is the world you're given. What can you do with it? And they've done great because all of the characters you truly like invest in. Yeah, and to be honest, like even the class 1B, like you look at the heroes and you're because this is again, this isn't the first time that you've seen them. You've seen them in the camping arc, the training arc where Deku
Yeah.
fought Muscular, and you saw some of their powers. Like what's his name? Tetsu. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
double first name. Tetsu.
Yeah, the
Um,
steel guy.
yeah, he is the mirror image of
Kirishima,
Red
yeah.
Red Riot. Yeah, and but like you see how they were then, and it's brilliant how like they're like, okay, listen, let's train because all your focus as a viewer, as a reader, is class 1A.
It
It's all
really
you
is.
know. And then class 1B comes and they're like, listen, we're kind of awesome too. Don't count us out.
That's basically that what you just did. That was like if Monoma had chill. Like
But yeah, Minoma's he's but I think but that's another thing. His character is meant to be like that, and you're
yeah.
meant to be like, just can you please just stop? But at the same time, you're kind of like, let me see what you can do.
Yeah,
Show me
like
what you can do.
like Monoma, he's annoying, but he's like understandably annoying because he's like massively insecure about his quirk because his
Mm-hmm.
biggest fear is he can't. Well, not his biggest fear. His biggest insecurity is that like because his quirk is copy. He touches somebody, he copies their quirk for an amount of time, and as we've seen in the manga as well as upcoming in the anime, he's trained it to where it lasts longer and he can contain multiple quirks now. And but the thing is, even then, he has to touch somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And as when we haven't really seen that much of his combat skills in the manga or the anime, so
You know, as you were talking about this, you know what show this reminds me of?
huh.
Did you ever watch the show Heroes,
Oh wait, which one?
the NBC
Oh
show?
yeah. I watched like the first season of it, but I never got back.
And that's all you needed to watch. Like the
Yeah.
first season was the only really good one. Uh, it's very much like that, you know, like you put these people in the situation and what kind of happens. And Monoma is like uh the main character, Peter Petrelli. He just like
Yeah.
acquires people's quirks. Um but yeah, I mean I'm very curious to see, like, I mean, I know what's gonna happen, but I'm curious to see how they're going to animate
Yeah.
um this upcoming fight with Bakugo and Tokage, yeah. The girl that went in um on recommendations.
Oh, Momo Yaoyorozu.
No. She's from class 1B.
Oh, Kendo.
Tokage.
Kendo.
No. Kendo's the big fist girl.
Oh, okay.
No,
Tokage.
she's the other one, but I'm curious to see how they're going to do
Oh
that.
wait, the lizard girl, the
Yeah,
lizard split girl. Yeah, now
yes.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Tokage. Like,
Um,
I gotta be honest, I didn't expect her to be blue. I thought she would.
that's
I thought she would be green.
that was the next thing that I was gonna bring up before like going into the other arcs. I love how I love how the manga is black and white
Yeah,
because you never know what's supposed to be what color. You just that's cool. I didn't think that you had green hair. You know, like it's just it's very refreshing when you see something like that. Like you already know who the character is, but you don't know anything about their aesthetic, how they're gonna look, the color, what color their eyes are gonna be, their uniform, anything. And then all of a sudden they're just like, boom, here it is, and you're like, oh, okay, all right, that's pretty cool.
like weird flex, but okay. That was basically it. And now I'm thinking, what's gonna happen when she does that JoJo pose? Like, what if they just do another thing with Mineta where they add in an extra frame to where he's just drooling over a girl that's posing? Because I,
Yeah.
because I remember, like, I the piece of manga that I read, like, because
Mhm.
remember when Ashido was doing the breakdance during the school festival arc?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and in comes Mineta like, "Why are you wearing shorts?" And because that wasn't in the manga, if I remember, and then they just added that in, and I'm like, I didn't expect that, but I'm grateful for it because
Yeah.
it's
It's nice when they add things like
yeah,
that.
it's like consistency for his character.
Hmm.
Yeah, because like no, because like he's heroic. good motives, but at the same time, we know who he really is. We know what
Yeah.
grape juice is about.
The ending of this current season, the outro, literally shows you what he's about because
Yeah.
they cut. What is it? I think they cut to Zero grabbing something, and then they cut to him, and it's
Yeah,
him holding two magazines written by Jiraiya.
and then,
Um,
and during his fight, there was a part where he got launched up and he just pressed his face on Ashido's chest, and I'm like, okay, when this gets animated, this is gonna be weird. Like,
yeah, but you know what? I feel like they do a good job of not giving too much fan service,
yeah,
which thank God, because we know that there's a lot of those that give a ton more fan service that needs to be given.
yeah, because like even if it is unnecessary fan service, at least it was canon to the manga. We can give them the
Yeah,
benefit of the doubt for that. But
yeah. I don't mean to badmouth any fire, of course. Um, but sorry, allergies.
I can't help but agree with you on that one. But Jesus, but yeah, like, but that's but then again, that's another thing that the anime does a good job of is keeping the characters consistent. Like,
Mhm.
there's hardly any inconsistencies, and if it's, but the only thing where there's an inconsistency is with Endeavor, and that's like something that was actually needed. He needed to change.
Yeah. And he even said that. He said that in his fight with the Nomu. He was like, "You're me from a long time ago or from a different timeline." Like, he literally said that. Those were the words that he said. And he's 1,000% correct because all the Nomu cared about was power, 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 power.
And
And
they just wanted to fight stronger opponents, and that was
yep.
it. They
And
wanted to fight
he,
They just wanted to
go
fight
ahead.
stronger opponents and gain clout and status, and that was it. And that's what it had even greater symbolism with like Hawks and his feathers on
Mhm.
Endeavor, and the feathers were on fire. That was like the phoenix rising from the ashes metaphor, and him burning the Nomu was literally him burning the shadow of his former self.
Yeah. I think that scene was just awesome because it showed that he's humble now, like he got
Yeah.
humiliated and he knows how to deal with it. He's what so hey, like let's talk about the we keep talking about the war arc.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the war arc.
Yeah.
Spoilers for people who if you have not read the manga, leave.
Just
Or
click
mute this for like the next 10 minutes.
like click out or keep listening or watching at your own peril. This is our warning. But
Yeah.
the war arc, first before the war arc came, well actually, I don't know. Does the meta liberation arc count as the part of the war arc?
I think that's like the beginning of the war arc,
Okay,
right?
so yeah, that's like the prelude to the war arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the lack
Uh,
of better terms, the prelude. But
yeah, okay.
and
So uh,
I'm not
just
like the Redestro guy. Like first thing I see is dude with a widow's peak, fancy suit, and a pointy nose, and I'm like, bad guy with good intentions. Like,
and that's the crazy thing. That is the insane thing is that the whole what is their organization called again?
the Meta Liberation Army.
Yes, the Meta Liberation Army. Just that in general is like totally left field because you don't see that coming. All you know so far in the show is heroes and villains. That's it.
Right. And then there's the in between, which is the Meta Liberation.
Yeah, which is like, hey, listen, we know that there should be some kind of norms within this quirkful society. How do we do it without having people who are literally just like destroying the idea of a hero, the idea of like what it's meant to be, like this utopic society?
Dystopic.
This
Dystopic.
no, utopic, right? Wouldn't it be utopic?
Well, no.
Because like it is very peaceful because of All Might.
Well,
You know?
yeah. It's like the in between of utopia and dystopia.
So
Yeah.
like how can we live a normal life when these heroes who are supposedly heroes are really just like money grubbing, clout chasing, like you said,
Yeah.
pieces of garbage, while people who like are really trying to do a good job are getting crapped on, you know, because maybe they didn't know the right people, maybe they didn't like get into the right like sidekick society. um and it's interesting because you're like, okay, I, I know you're a bad guy, but I kind of see where you're coming from.
Like, for real, like, you're making me question my sanity here. Like,
Yeah,
li-
it's very much like Killmonger from Black Panther.
or you
Y-
could argue that it's like a like we said, anime equivalent of X-Men. It's almost like a callback to Magneto and the Brotherhood.
mhm,
Like Magneto was never a villain. He was an anti-hero. First off,
mhm.
elderly Holocaust survivor who happened to be a mutant. Like, he suffered through persecution and all kinds of bad stuff, and he's like, I don't want this to happen to anybody else, especially people who are like me.
Yeah.
And that's basically what Reed Destro is. Like, we've seen his past, we've seen his backstory. He witnessed the persecution of metas, as he calls the superpower
Mhm.
people. He witnessed the persecution, the prejudice, the discrimination that actually incurs, and like, he wasn't gonna have that, which is part of why he took up his role in the Meta Liberation Army.
And to like keep going on that. Um, wait, hold on. What was I gonna say? To keep um the flip side of that, when you finally get into decay, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Shigaraki.
Yeah,
Um, uh, going up against them, you can also understand why he's doing what he's doing.
yeah. They are literally just like Shigaraki and Redestro were literally just two sides of the same coin. That was literally what they were, and that's
Yep.
part of why he gave in to Shigaraki at that time, because he saw what Shigaraki was doing. He basically he literally felt his ideals in his soul,
Hmm.
which is why he gave in to Shigaraki. Like, he saw the way he used his quirk, the way he flexed his power was liberating, which was what he was aiming for with the organization and his life's work.
I like I was blown away when, because you never, obviously in a manga, in a series, you care about the main characters and their friends. You never give a crap about like the villains or side stories or things like that.
Right. And here comes
But
Horikoshi, like, let me make you sympathize with a villain. Like,
let me just give you chapters upon chapters upon chapters of people you have now recently just met, people you have met before and you actually hate, and let's just mesh them together and see what happens. And he
dude,
did a
don't
brilliant job.
don't get me started on Twice. Dude,
I was just about to mention that.
dude,
That
Twice, like, oh my
that
god.
was actually kind of sad.
Dude,
That was
that
actually
that
kind
was
of
brutal. That was
that.
brutal what they did with Twice. Like, cuz I knew he was a trauma victim. He had like severe anxiety, like borderline personality disorder. Like dude was
Okay, all right.
yeah.
Pump the brakes. Wouldn't you have personality disorder if you don't even know if you're the real one?
I know, but that's the thing. I didn't know that was his struggle at the time. And if I did, then that literally dropped out of my brain the entire time, and it just like came back. And like, I'm reading this and I'm like, holy shit, his primary struggle was he doesn't know if he's the real Twice. But
Hmm.
then again, there's that thought in the back of my head thinking, if the real Twice is dead, wouldn't all the doubles just die too? And I'm like, maybe that's just not the case.
No, it isn't, because he. So
Yeah.
I
Cause
think when you're first introduced to him in the manga and the series, they explain to you how like he made a double of himself by accident. Like that's how he
yeah.
figured out it work. And then like they all didn't know who the original one was, and they just all went on a killing spree. And then he hoped that him killing everybody else was him being the original one. He was like, I don't know if I killed the original one.
Yeah, it was basically like a double battle royale, like, to him in his perspective.
Hmm.
And like, the thing was, like, and I didn't know this until he did that double explosion thing in the middle of the suburbs, but the doubles can make other doubles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my mind went all the way back to like the 20s and 30s of the manga when the League of Villains first came to be. And I'm like, oh, so that's how his trauma was ensued.
Mm-hmm.
Because knowing that the doubles can make other doubles would really mess with your brain if that was your
Mm-hmm.
power. And when they broke his arms and they were like, holy shit, that hurts. Oh, wait, it hurts so much and I'm still here, so I am the real one. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel so good for him for getting over that. Just so powerful.
The one thing that I really liked about how they did it in the series was that explosion of twice
Yeah.
whatever
Twice.
of twice I um
The
uh
doubles, yeah.
was just it was so climactic because it was just like boom, let's just take over and just destroy everything. And he did it like it was perfectly done. And then they brought it to try to bring it back again when Hawks was there, and Hawks knew the importance of this is out of all of them, even over Shigaraki, he is the one I got to take out because if I don't take him out, we are effed.
Like, cause, and the way he tried to save him, I was really, like, as I was turning those pages, I was praying like hell,
Me too.
praying
Me
to
too.
hell
Because
and
you
back that he
sympathize with
would.
him.
I know, like, I was praying to hell and back that he would go with Hawks and he would be like, "Help me," like, but then only for that to happen, and I'm like, oh, like I couldn't read the manga for like 2 days after that. Like,
It
oh my,
was a lot, but I think they executed it very very well
it
because
did.
he they did a great job of showing you a side of somebody that you originally hated. You grew to be like, okay, he's kind of funny, to understanding him more, and then it's like, what choice do I have to do? And it's crazy because he was like, no, I want to go help Toga
Right.
because through all of this, through all this trauma, all this like just awful crap that keeps happening to the League of Villains and to them individually, he somehow found someone to like gravitate to.
Exactly. And that was, and I'm not gonna lie, as far as the villains go, that I never thought I would ship two villains, but Twice and Toga, they actually had really awesome chemistry
They
going
did.
on. And like for one, they were both like they were both trauma victims, psychologically unstable. I mean, one more than the other, you could argue, but they both resonated so well, and it was just so touching to see them get along. Like especially that scene where, and he talked about this, Twice talked about this, that scene where he was being held by the meta liberationists when she wrapped the hanky around his face to keep him from
Yeah.
splitting. That
Yep.
was one of the most heartfelt moments of season 4.
I agree.
Like
Um, they would just worked really well together, and to be honest, I think that's very good storytelling. Obviously, I don't think that they write the women in the show very well. Like Momo is great. I think they try. They really really are trying to like do that, but you can tell that it's kind of difficult. And however, that being said, I do think that they have written Toga as a fantastic villain,
they really
as
have.
as someone that you're like, I don't dislike you, like I don't hate you, like there's those villains in mangas and like series that you're just
Yeah.
like, I hate you so much, Show Tucker. But
And now all the Koga, we're basically giving all the Koga simps their valid reasons. Like,
and go ahead.
like you simp for whoever, just play it safe. Just
Yeah. The in that same arc, what in that same arc, you find out about Kurogiri.
Kurogiri. Oh,
Kurogiri. You
yeah.
find out about him, and that shit was crazy.
Because I actually remember like him and President Mike talking earlier about a third friend, and I'm like, holy shit, there was another dumbass trio before this one, and I'm like,
Yeah, because I was like, what are they even talking about? And then like you so correct me if I'm wrong, but All for One captured him and then gave him that power and like messed with his head, right?
yeah, well, yes and no. Like he captured him, like, well, actually, we don't know who captured him, but he was captured, brought to Doctor Garaka, I think his name is the doctor.
Yes. Yeah, that weird doctor that's like obsessed
Yeah,
with what's his
the mad scientist, that dude.
Yeah,
The
Garaki.
Garaki, Dr.
Yeah.
Garaki. And yeah, he was brought to Dr. Garaki, and he was, his body was toyed with, and he was made into a Nomu. But obviously, he retained some part of himself, as we've
Mhm.
seen in the manga. And, All for One, like with All for One's help, they altered his body, gave him a new quirk, a new appearance. And I'm just like, this
Yeah.
is terrible. And that's another thing I love about this series, the way they tackle on the realism. Like in reality, like if this was reality, this is the kind of shit that would happen. Like especially like
Mhm.
we were saying earlier with Twice's case, like if you had the ability to make doubles of yourself and those doubles could make doubles of themselves,
Mhm.
like, and by some horrible accident the real you was gone, like that would traumatize you, because the doubles are like the doubles of yourself inherit all of your memories.
Yeah, that
That's horrifying to think about. And and like I said, when Twice got over his trauma, that was like one of the most genuine moments he had, and I felt for him. It was just absolutely insane how much I felt for him. Like Horikoshi has no business making me sympathize with all these villains like this. Like it's
no.
just it should be illegal.
None at all, because like you don't sympathize with like Cell, you don't sympathize with who
You don't sympathize
what's
with
his,
Cell, Frieza,
what's his name, Bradley from Full Metal Alchemist. You
Bradley.
don't, yeah,
Oh, Führer Bradley.
yeah, Fury Bradley. You don't sympathize with him.
Yeah.
Like you don't sympathize with villains. Like that's just not something that
Like,
happens. And maybe it does. Maybe it does happen in like other, series that I have not watched, or I'm not an expert on that stuff.
yeah, because like
But in
yeah, what in most animes that we see, like we'll get a backstory for a villain, and it'll explain how they gain their power, how they were brought up, why they do what they do, their motives.
Mhm.
But hardly in anime do we see that we sympathize as much as we do with like the ones in My Hero Academia. Like there's actually a huge psychological element that's built into these characters, and
Mhm.
like currently right now I am sweating with anticipation on what's going to happen next, like especially with all the newcomers, and the fact that they brought back uh the fucker from the Hasai Kai Chisaki. They finally brought him back with Lady Nagant.
Oh yes, yes.
When they brought him back, I'm like, oh, I didn't recognize you without your mask. And then I saw that he's missing the arms, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh no, like, oh no.
I'm curious, and I'm really excited to see what it is like where the series goes with the manga, because obviously this is the final arc.
Yeah,
Um, it's only a couple of chapters into the final arc, but like the war arc literally just hyped the show up. It took it like like next level. With the return of Miru, which when you read, I don't know if you did you read that where
the return of
uh
Minu.
yeah, Lemillion.
Oh,
Lemillion.
Mirio.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mirio Togeda. Yeah, when he came back during
When
that fight,
his face popped up,
I saw
yeah,
that, and my
so
face was about to go
I,
through the ceiling. Like,
I
no, I did not want. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted this to happen. I wanted this, but not so soon and during such the best of times.
it was crazy because everything was just going to shit. everything was just going to garbage, and you're like, what? Like, seriously, how much worse can this possibly get? And all of a sudden you see his stupid little face
Just
just
like,
pop up from the ground
hey!
saying pow. And then I knew that the next page was going to be power. And that whole scene just delivered. I was smiles for the week. I like tried to discuss it with everybody that I could. I was like, oh my god, how excited were you?
Like, I didn't know who I was happier for, him or Aerie. I didn't know
Yeah.
who to be happier for at that
Yeah,
moment.
and I love that they gave that flashback of like, this is why I did it and everything like that. So that was great. I am upset that like I am upset, but I'm also not, because
Yeah.
shonen animes don't have a tendency of killing. Well, that's not true. They do just kill off characters left and right. But Midnight,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I that wasn't one that I was expecting.
I'm like, it was low key unnecessary. Like,
Yes and no. I
I
feel
mean,
like
I
you're
said,
right.
low key, yeah.
It was a little unnecessary, because like there was really no reason for anything like that to happen. But it did show you the realities of like something like that happening, and also it's just like Jiraiya dying so that Naruto can step up, and
Yeah.
Asuma dying so that Shikamaru can step up. It's Midnight dying so that um the heroes that she has impacted, these new gen of heroes, can step up. Momo
Yeah.
did. She stepped up, and so did Red Riot.
There's a word for that. It's a supplantement.
Yes.
Yeah, it was it was a brilliant use of supplantement, but at the same time, it was conflicting. Like,
Very much so.
But that's what makes it such a great series. Like, the fact that it can make you feel so emotional on such a high scale. Like, it's so brutal how much this touches my heart. Like,
I'm happy with what the show is doing. I think they're doing a
yeah.
fantastic job.
Like, I'm really excited to see the next episode already, like tomorrow morning. Well, not tomorrow morning, Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see, Black Whip manifest from Deku.
I don't think that won't happen for like another 2 to 3 episodes, right?
Well, I mean,
It's the Bakugo match, and then it's
oh yeah,
isn't he match 6?
oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, like another 2 or 3 episodes. You're right.
Hold on, let me check. Class 1A versus 1B matches. You can literally find everything on YouTube,
Yeah.
or not on YouTube, on Google. Matchups, joint training battle. All right, yeah. So the next one is Bakugo, Zero, Earphone Jack, and Sugarman versus Jack Mantis, Lizardry, Platinum. Oh yeah, okay, never mind. It's this one, and then it's the Deku one, because that's the last one.
Okay, yeah.
They're the last round.
And another thing I'm looking for. Well, actually, how many episodes is this season scheduled for? Because I want to know how much this is going to cover. Because after this season, we're supposed to get Hero's Mission at some point.
Episodes. Schedule. There we go. 21?
21 episodes?
25 episodes. The last episode airs September 5th.
Okay, so 25 episodes. That's actually a pretty good number. Like, they could cover, like, because they can squeeze 2 to 3 chapters in one episode. Like, depending on the pacing and what they have the ability to do, what they have the ability to animate.
They could. So
Yeah.
we're going to be on, what's the date today? Today's the 20th.
Yeah.
So we're already going to be on episode 10.
Okay, so 10 episodes in.
So I'm going to assume that Bakugo's fight is going to be the 10, and that one like wraps up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so I think they might try to either squeeze in the beginning of Deku's fight in 10, or they'll do 11 and 12 fully, just those two fights, or they'll do 11, 12 the conclusion. Like, they're gonna have to do it over three episodes. So even if that took us to episode 13, that still leaves us with 11 episodes left.
Yeah, and those 11 episodes, like, in 6 episodes, you've got, like, the Endeavor internship arc.
Hmm.
and that alone is like brilliant development for those three. Like I could definitely see those two end up being the next big three of class of my what's it called of UA Academy.
I think I think that that could be covered in one episode
Yeah, maybe.
because I think that was like 3 chapters. That could probably be covered in one episode because I think what they're probably going to do is they're going to introduce the organization and then probably try to end where the League of Villains goes and meets up with them.
Yeah, and and another thing I'm looking forward to. Well, yeah, actually, you're right. That would be a great way to end off season 5 because that's basically what they did in the manga. It was like drawn out to where it was mapping everybody like this. It was like mapping everybody in like frame by frame, all the heroes, all the villains, like,
Hmm.
and then there was like one of those moments like just wait and see what happens next, and then that would be like a perfect cutoff cliffhanger for season 5. And then
Yeah.
what I want to know is like after that you got the hero's mission movie, and that what I want to know is like where's that gonna cover as far as the manga, and where do those three with their new suits, because I didn't see that in the manga, and if I did I just
Mm,
didn't notice.
mm, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very curious to see what it is that they do.
Yeah. Maybe for all we know, the suits probably just could have been an added detail suggested by like cuz this has actually been a thing in past animes. Like the manga writers will like go to the animation studios like this is something that I wanted to add into the manga, but I didn't. But now that it's animated, I want to do this cuz that's probably what those suits are. Thinking about that.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? We will I mean, it's like that cliffhanger in the manga. We just have to wait and see. But
Hmm.
but
I don't know. I am kind of excited for the movie because that's the thing. Like, are the movies canon?
yeah, the movies are canon. The,
So is this one going to be canon?
I am hoping so cuz like
That's so
the last
the other
two,
two were, yeah.
yeah,
But like this one says that they're going to America. When?
cuz
Like when are they going to be going? Like
that
are
didn't
they
happen in
going
the manga.
during the war or like during the battle between like the League of Villains and the Meta Human Liberation?
Yeah, cuz I didn't see that in the manga like those three going to America. And if it did, that must have been like one of those secret chapters that wasn't released on the Shonen Jump app or Shonen Jump magazine. So,
I don't know. I am curious for it though.
yeah, because I'm definitely gonna have to like take some time to look that up. But back to like the thing about the manga and like the anime, like I'm very curious to see how Black Whip looks when it's animated, as well
Yeah.
as like the one for all that one for all Vestige that had Black Whip. Like I want to know how well that character is going to be conveyed in the anime because he was definitely crucial in those moments.
I feel like if his helmet is not red, I'm going to be very upset. That's all I care about.
Yeah, the red helmet. Like I'm curious as to who's going to voice him in the English dub. It's probably going to be some big butch guy like pay attention to my Black Whip, kid. Like something like that.
That sounds really bad.
That does sound
Um,
that does sound really bad. Oh my god. Anybody listening,
yeah.
don't cancel me for that sentence. But
Yes. I'm I'm not affiliated here. I'm just a special guest. Please don't cancel me either.
but
Um,
yeah, but even then, like I forget his name, the Black Whip guy, but I can't call him that either. But oh my god.
yeah, I forget. Let's Google it. All
Like
one
he was the
for
predecessor for he was before Nana Tomura, so Nana Tengo. So he would have been the
uh,
sixth user. He would have been the sixth user.
yeah, let me type in all for one, not Vestige
Yeah.
users.
Wait, it's one for all, not all for one.
Yeah. Oh, I said I typed one for all, not all
Oh.
for one.
But
It is. His name is Daigoro Banjo.
Daigoro Banjo?
Daigoro Banjo.
Daigoro Banjo. The fact that his last name is Banjo, how did I forget that? How do you forget a last name Banjo? But yeah, like he'll definitely be a crucial character in Deku's development. I mean, as we have seen in the manga, as well as the other vestiges. And when Black Web manifests in the anime, man, is that going to generate so much hype. Like, not only for anime watchers, but manga readers combined. Like,
So I said this to my son the other day. Well, not the other day, when he started reading the manga. Do you remember when season 4 closed and then like Deku woke up and his All for One was activated and everything, and then like
yeah.
that? I didn't like that. I really wish they hadn't ended there. I wish they would have ended with Hawks meeting up with Dobby. I feel like that would have been so much better of a cliffhanger, because the whole, like, for 3 episodes you're just rooting for Hawks and like, yeah, Hawks is awesome, and then out of nowhere it's just like,
He's a bad
hey,
guy.
guess what? I'm a bad guy. Oh,
just cue Michael Jackson. Who's bad? Like, that would have been perfect.
But like, I feel like that, and that's I think that's probably my only issue with the show. I know that the show revolves around Deku. I get it. The series revolves around him. The whole premise of My Hero Academia is for him. But I don't need to be hyped for him having something manifest. Just if they hadn't said anything in the trailer, I still would have been hyped for the show.
Yeah.
And it would have gotten me even more like, holy, yo, God, what the, like, you know that they're going to end the episode on that.
Yeah.
They're going to end the episode on him having back whip or black whip.
Yeah, and my favorite thing about it, like everything in the beginning, like every time in the beginning for a couple of seasons, he was like, "This is the story of how I became the greatest hero in the world," and there were those parts that weren't about him, but at the same time, those parts that weren't about him, they actually do tie into his story.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that there's just so much that we have to look forward to see.
I am
in the
very
anime.
excited.
And the hype is real. The hype could not be more real. But yeah, on that note, we're going to close out. And thank you guys for watching this episode, listening to this episode.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Mr. Spanish.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, my
I
friend.
appreciate you, man.
My besto friendo.
Besto friendo.
But yeah, definitely like and subscribe if you guys want to see more. And we will see you all later.
Peace.